Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching. A shalom. All right, so today we want to go into this quick article. Let's see. Salakia. I don't know where it went. Oh, here we go. It says U.S. oil war. Trump confirms first land strike inside Venezuela. Major explosion at drug dot. Yeah, so you see how they started attacking these different boats, but now as you can see, it was a land strike. So they actually, bombing, Venezuela. Just like they bomb all these other countries, man. When they don't do what America says, hey, give us your oil, give us your resources so we can control it. I've been looking into it. It's very important because Venezuela has one of the largest, if not the largest, oil reserves in the world, and they have the good oil that America wants, that thick, heavy crude oil, which is the most convenient, and it's conveniently located, not too far from the U.S. So what America wants to do is take control of Venezuela and lock that down, because Venezuela has ties with Iran and with Russia. So America's like, nah, that's for us. So America wants control of that so they can lock out, Iran, China, and Russia so that they can't buy oil from Venezuela. Okay, and then on top of that, there's other things also going on with Israel that has to do with that, which I got to go more into that. But basically, the point being, America with its insatiable greed, all right, starting wars, okay, nothing new. But what is new is that it's spicing up, it's heating up. Like we keep saying, World War III will eventually have to go nuclear, and you can see it step by step by step. It's heading in that direction. I just made a video today about America and what was it? And Iran. Yeah. So Iran basically is saying that they declare war on the US. Okay? So hey, if it's a full-scale war like they say, they might go and start sending aid to Venezuela. It'll be like a whole nother, like over there you got the Russia-Ukraine situation. Well, over here is going to be America-Venezuela, man. And you see how these countries are all taking sides. They either want to take sides with Russia or they want to take sides with the U.S. See, and it's the perfect setup for World War III, man. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past. The second woe, that was the Second World War. Okay, the word woe is going into destruction or sorrows. Okay, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. You see, it cometh quickly. The scriptures tell us that Yahweh Shai will return as a thief in the night. You're not expecting him to come. He's going to come at a time you're not expecting it. Everybody's talking about 2030 like they know something. Okay? You got all these new conspiracy theorists coming out on the webs, man, but we've been telling you this stuff since the beginning, man. All right? And by the beginning, I mean, for a very long time, decades. We've been telling you that there was going to be a World War III and it's going nuclear and, the chip, all these different things. Okay, but ultimately, man, 2030 is just what the elites are saying. Okay, but if you look with your eyes and read the agenda, they have a huge list they want accomplished by 2030. That doesn't mean that they can't accomplish some of those things sooner. And the only thing we are looking for is the chip. That's one thing out of a laundry list of things. Surely there's a good chance that's going to happen before 2030 just off that alone. Okay, but we know what the scriptures say. The Lord said that times would speed up for the elect's sake. So those days are going to be cut short. Right? It's not going to be 2030. It's going to be sooner than that. Hell, it could be 2026. Okay, but nevertheless, with that being said, we're going to go into this article real quick. All right, it says U.S. oil war. Trump confirms first land strike inside Venezuela. Major explosion at drug dock. President Donald Trump has revealed that the United States carried out a strike on a drug boat loading facility inside Venezuela. A move that could mark the first known U.S. land operation in the country since Washington intensified pressure on President Nicolas Maduro. Trump described a major explosion at a dock used to load narcotics, saying the area is now no longer around. U.S. agencies have declined to comment. Venezuela has remained silent, and speculation is growing over whether this was a covert CIA-led operation. As the Trump administration ramps up military pressure in the Caribbean and touts major successes against drug trafficking networks, questions are mounting over escalation, secrecy, and the broader consequences for U.S.-Venezuela relations. And that's pretty much it. But as you can see, man, the third woe cometh quickly. And like the article was saying, okay, things are spicing up. Okay, but you got to remember that the world is watching, man. The whole world is watching America's behavior. And this is why, you have the BRICS economy set up, which makes up 50% of the gold economy output this year. Okay, so it's growing. Okay, there's two sides. It's America versus BRICS, Russia, and pretty much the rest of the world. And they're seeing America's behavior. And not too long ago, I believe it could have been a month or a few weeks, but either way, it wasn't too long ago. America, the U.S. staged a false flag event. They sent some people to go blow up the U.S. embassy, which is in Venezuela. Basically they setting it up. They acting as if they are, part of the cartel or something to attack their own self. Why? So they could have an excuse to go to war, man. So America really wants that oil. But of course, they're always going to have to spin it, use their spin doctors, spin a narrative on the media. So they need an excuse, okay? But ultimately, this is the Lord's will anyway. Because the Lord wants all these countries to go to war with each other so he can annihilate them. All right? The Lord's going to have them all get together in the valley of Yehoshaphat. All right? But this is Habakkuk 2, and we're going to go to verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Speaking about these Edomites, these so-called white people, just look at how America behaves, man. It's just insatiable. Okay, you got mass corruption, and the whole point of them getting that oil is just so they could just so they can control who gets to have it and, be able to raise the price and keep making profits off of it. And I looked it up. They have so much oil there. It's something like quadrillions of dollars worth of oil that hasn't even been dug up. There's no reason anybody should be starving anywhere, but this is the system the so-called white man has created. All right, this whole system, and that's why the U.S. economy runs on that dollar. Okay, so you can't just make up your own system. You got to live according to this devil's system of artificial scarcity and starting wars over resources. It's complete madness. But this is why the Lord has to take these devils out of rulership. This is why the Lord is doing this. All right, the Lord already showed you what a world run on wickedness is. We've seen it. We've lived it. Okay, but now it's time for the Lord to make an example out of Esau. And this is the time we're coming into. Okay, because this devil is doing a lot of wickedness worldwide, man. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. And that wine is these false philosophies. Okay, and one of those is, the way he pushes out lies through his media outlets, okay? And, staging these false flag events. Okay, a good example of a false flag event was 911. Y'all remember in the year 2001, with the situation that happened in New York? That was so they could go ahead and go over there to the Middle East and do what they did over there. And also they fast forwarded their agenda to get everybody chipped up by taking away a lot of freedoms, making everything more draconian, limiting your freedoms to the point now where you go to the airport, they checking everything, man. Every last thing. It's all about control. And ultimately, people are going to have a chip to travel, to buy and sell, to do anything. Okay? But yeah, part of that wine is the falsehood he teaches on his different social media, not just social media, but the news outlets. Mainly the news, the mainstream news. Okay, and of course, his different, alphabet agenda, feminism, all that shit that he pushes worldwide. Okay, so on and so forth. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, right? Here he is in Venezuela, trying to steal oil. He's in Venezuela. He was in Ukraine, right? Palestine, right? With the small hats. Taiwan. All these places he's doing too much. Okay? Who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, right? The so-called white man's greed is infinite. He'll never be satisfied until he controls everybody to a T. Controls when you get to breathe, what you get to think about. Ultimately they do want to get that brain chip in a lot of you people too. They can control your thoughts, see what you're thinking, invade your privacy to an even worse extent than what it's already been invaded. People talk about we already got smartphones. Smartphones ain't enough. The so-called white man wants to be inside your brain, man. And he wants this oil. He wants this crude oil. He wants this gold, okay? And he wants control of Venezuela. That's what he wants, all right? Because if China and Russia get a foot in there, now they're over here in America's backyard. You see? They don't want that. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people, right? This devil will not stop until he puts a chip in everybody and controls every single aspect of everybody's lives. That's what these international elite banking families want. All right, but the Lord is not going to allow it, man. The Lord is going to cut Esau's plans short. All right, this is Isaiah 13 and verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Right, the Medes being today the Russians. All right, it says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, right? So ultimately, the Russians are going to lead the charge and shoot their nuclear missiles here in America. It says, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? That's America. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. You see, we know Sodom and Gomorrah went out by fire, and that's what's going to happen here in America. So we see these different, every day when we bring you these news updates, it's one step closer to our enemy Esau's downfall. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, right? Once this third world war goes nuclear and America's wiped off the map forever, okay, it's just gonna be a giant desert. Nobody's gonna set foot here. It's not gonna be inhabited. It's gonna be left as a memorial. Okay, this is what happens to a nation that rules in wickedness. Okay, this was the most wicked nation, the most wicked empire of all empires ever. All right, and the Lord's going to make an example of this place. Verse 21, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's right. So it's saying, the only thing that's going to live here is unclean animals, right? Owls, satyrs, right? So on and so forth. But it says, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged, right? So these devils can keep kicking a can down the road, trying to offset prophecy, but the Lord is going to put it in their heart to make a move. The Lord is going to force their hand, and this World War III will escalate very quickly, man. Okay, meantime, they will mandate the chip for buying and selling here very shortly. You see these AIs taking everybody's fucking job, and Elon Musk talking about universal high income is here. Don't worry, don't worry. They've already run their pilot programs, man. They know how to get people on that system, and basically they're ready to do it. Okay, once they get most people on universal basic, okay, it's not gonna be a problem switching them over to digital. Okay, which is gonna happen very soon, man. When they switch everybody to the chip, because ultimately they're gonna have you with the digital ID, getting your UBI, universal basic income. Then they're gonna mandate that chip for buying and selling, and then once that happens, man, that's it. The Lord is gonna take this place out, and it's gonna happen very quickly, man. All right. So just a quick update, Babylon struck Venezuela, in their border, in their land, right by the coast. So, they're getting more bold. It's heating up. And Maduro's talking about, we're going to fight back. So, hey, maybe Russia and Iran backed them. And, hey, Iran said they're ready to go to war right now. So, shit, they might use Venezuela and just get it started, Lord's will, something happens sooner rather than later. The sooner this happens, the sooner we get out of here, man. But with that, I pray that lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKorash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa, abad babal. Shalom.